It's a boss man beat.
Welcome to SLC Incorporated, where you are liberated to soar, lead, and conquer. Empowerment is what we do. Educating is our expertise. Excelling you will do. SLC Incorporated.
Hey, girls.
Hey, ladies. What you doing? How you doing? Yes.
Man, oh man, oh man. Let me welcome everyone to Sisters Let's Chats. We are the beautiful ladies of SLC, Shanice, Labrina, Kristen. And we invite you guys into our warming conversations that we have each week. Typically we drop those on Monday. Right. So tune in, watch, love on us, listen to how we kind of just explore conversations that we have amongst each other all the time and things that we know our audience definitely want some insight on, right? Things you want to discuss. You may not have friends, girls or guys, that you can discuss these things with, or things that you struggle with, right? Things that you would like to see an open platform discuss. So that's where we fill that void for you, right? This is what we would do with amongst ourselves weekly anyway. But we thought it would be great to bring that to a podcast, YouTube form, so that we can broaden our horizons. But we do have that disclaimer for you because you heard me say it's Sisters Let's Chat. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the phenomenal episode number. Yes, indeed. We have did it. Yes, indeed. Oh my God. If y'all haven't caught up on some great information and messages, 1 through 9, all I can tell you 1 through 9, but today is going to be even greater. And yes, again, the disclaimer, you heard the Sisters Let's Chat, but we are also welcoming our men, our kings, our fellas, our brothers. You know what I'm saying? Just don't think it's just because it's women that, we're just talking about women topics, but no, this is for everybody. It's so open, an open forum. We're talking about things from manifesting your vision to preparing for the transition in yourself or your children to financial literacy or about self-awareness. You know what I'm saying? So all those things are great things, not just for women, it's also for men and some for your family too as well. So yes, we are looking forward for you guys to chime in.
As always, looking forward for you to chime in. I'm glad you said that, Chris. So on that note, y'all know we are on YouTube. Come on, we say this every episode. This may be your first breakfast. This might be your first. If you go back, we say it on every episode. We are on YouTube. Like, share, comment, subscribe. If you're looking for us, it's SISTAHZ. Let's chat. That's Sisters Let's Chat. Come check us out. Let us know how you feel. Again, we do listen to all our reviews. We have people that hit us in our inbox and say, hey, I like the way you said that. What do you think about this? And giving their perspective. And I feel like that is so amazing and so beautiful to be able to have a platform to just talk about, like you said, Shanice, things that we talk about on a weekly basis as girlfriends, as sisters, and just to be able to give that to people and enrich people. And so with that enrichment being said, you will see us doing some of this a lot. That means we are giving you jewels. We tossing you some jewels. And with jewels come, you got to have that fire, right? I'm just saying. So we tossing y'all some jewels. That means we're giving you resources. We're giving you our true life experiences that we feel like you can actually use just to not even necessarily emulate what we do or emulate what we say, but to honestly be able to resonate and say, dang, you know what? I felt that way. Or you know what? I went through that. And it just feels good to be able to relate and fellowship with people that actually can understand you, right? So like, share, and comment, go to YouTube, but I got my shady question. It's about to get shady up in here. So, that's what I got.
I just don't know what to do.
I'm just saying, this is for the people. Because like I said, you may not like what our answers are, but guess what? These glasses is to protect you. Let you know it might get realer than you ever thought it might. I'm just saying, real life experience. That's what we're talking about. So ladies, the shady question of the day is, has your dream job, has it changed since you were a little kid? Has your dream job, that's like a tongue twister, huh? Your dream job, has it changed since you were a child? Has it changed? Has it? So, we go SLC. So, since I'm the L, Chris, it's all you, girl, wherever you at, because you might be up here, down there. I don't know, girl. I see you, but
I'm right here, baby. I'm right here. For me, absolutely it has. I don't know if I even consider it being a job, because I just love it. I still do to this day, was being a basketball player. I was supposed to be a phenomenal WNBA player. Absolutely. Oh my God, I used to sleep, dream, eat, play all the time. That's all I wanted to do. And that's funny you asked, because I actually, my senior year, where I was pregnant with my son, I did not know for 6 months. I know it's crazy, right? But I played my first 4 senior high school games being pregnant with him, and it was like, wow, did not even know, but like still going and doing. But absolutely. So I guess coming into the job now, I would love to be a coach, and so I'm working towards that, to coach women's basketball somewhere in the future. But it definitely did change. I am not doing that today.
When she say that, did it? Yes.
Right. Oh man, sis,
Look at her face light up.
I get it. I'm burning on the inside now just talking about it, because absolutely, I just see it different. Just that floor, that hard paint. Let's get to it. That orange ball. It was now or nothing. I loved it. So absolutely, sis, it did change for me. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, that was a good one. But I should have known you play basketball. I don't know. You just got this little, feng shui, this little structure about you. I should know you, girl. I should know.
Don't, because I'll come out of the dressing room looking like this. They be like, she play ball for real? Yeah, I really do. I would get out there.
Hey, and we'll beat your mess up. How about that?
Always. Like, you don't even understand. Look, we'll have to play some highlights on one episode or something.
Girl. Oh God.
Anyhow.
All right, Sean, you already know the question. Go ahead and get that answer. Go ahead and give us that answer.
It hasn't.
Really?
That's what she always wanted to do. Yes.
Wow.
I knew since I was 5, since kindergarten, what I wanted to do.
I wasn't 4.
4 or 5, yeah. I've always known what I wanted out of life. I always knew. We used to make business plans, all right, Chris? Like I would draw out business plans and what my corporations would look like, and what would all be entailed. Like even what we're doing right now, like this is something that I dreamed of as a child. And I always knew, like when I was told in kindergarten, we went on a tour. Let me tell you how I knew. My grandmother had breast cancer and emphysema. She had just got a pacemaker in, had one of her breasts removed, and had been going through a lot, my mom's mom. And I was 5 years old, like putting her medications together. And she was on several medications, like memorizing, knew them by color, shape, size. Like I would be with the nurses where they would come in, the home health nurses, and give my grandmother her treatments. Like she relied on me to be able to have the things she needed, because the other boys that she raised, because usually 3 or 4 of us in the house with her, I was her go-to. I was her right hand, right? So anything she needed, I provided for her. Cleaning her, like taking care of her. Girl, she had the best gold teeth on those dentures you'll never understand. But when I went to Forest General Hospital on a tour in kindergarten, the boys were given the surgical holders, like the hats they used to have with the and then the girls were given nurse hats. And I was like, nope, I want the surgical. And they wouldn't give it to me. I was told that because I was a girl, I had to wear the nurse's hat. Granted, started as a nurse, right? But I always knew like healthcare and giving and providing would be what I would do with my life. Like I knew, because I don't know if my grandmother molded that. I think definitely by trade, I naturally genetically love the care field, right? Anything I do, right? Rather it be my credit business, rather it be life coaching, rather it be, photography. everything I do is a service, a care service, where I want other people to feel good about themselves or be healthy or whatever it may be. So I knew since 4 what I would do, and I'm living out my dreams now, right? And evolving beyond that. But I always was an entrepreneur in healthcare. And now I could say originally I wanted to be a brain surgeon, but my hand
Yes.
getting emojis.
You like dissecting stuff. Like you
Well,
like cutting
I
people.
would be like, I was the one when we did that in class, like bare hand. Like I want to put my hands in it. I want it to be bloody. I want it to be like I was that kid. Now I'm not a serial killer, people. You know, they usually say when people do that when they're young, they cray. I'm not a serial killer. You know.
So that's if you kill like animals. That's if you going out killing animals.
But we had to dissect animals first, right? Like we had a deer,
yeah,
bullfrogs, but I love the anatomy of any of the bodies, period. I'm a white person. I want to know why something does something.
That's
I do that with mechanics. I do that with everything. I think it's just the way my brain operates for sure. But yep, nothing's changed for me. I've always wanted
wow.
what I have.
Wow. So I'm like complete opposite for y'all. Like when I grew up, I used to say, I want to be an anesthesiologist. That was my thing. I just wanted to be an anesthesiologist. And the more I learned about it, I still kind of thought that was what I wanted to do until I really got into them books. I'm just saying.
She said no.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, you know, hats off, like to medical field, like, oh, whew, it's a whole nother language. It's a whole nother situation. Some people are gifted with it. Some people are not. I am not. So I learned that. And honestly though, like when I was a little girl, I was in, I remember one time I was in front of the church and my mom was very heavily in the church, you know, like we talked about before, Monday through Sunday, ain't no days off. Church is every day. You're doing something. And I remember like it being like the Christmas program and seeing my mom just make little things in the church. And I was probably like, I don't know, I might have been 7 or younger. And I stood in front of the church and I was like, okay, before we move on with the program, guys, can we just give a thanks to my mother for all these beautiful things, right? And so I'm a little girl. So everybody was like, you know, the adults are like, oh my God, that's so cute. They're laughing. But me as a child, I was very devastated. Like I was heartbroken. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm just being me, you know? So I feel like at that moment in time, I didn't necessarily realize that this is something I'm supposed to be doing, like podcasting, speaking in front of people, you know, ministering and whatever platform that is, you know, I didn't realize that was my gift. And I feel like the enemy kind of used it against me because after that, that was like gone from my memory. Like the fact that I was able to do that as a child, the fact that I was, you know, that mature to be able to just be bold, you know? And so, I feel like it has changed for sure because I want to be an anesthesiologist, but I feel like God took me through certain experiences growing up to make me realize, hey, this is actually your gift. This is your talent. So I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be. But now that I have reconnected with that gift and that talent, now I'm like, okay, God, I see what you got me going on. So, you know, just being in the community and community relations, and just making sure people are connected to resources. That's just period. That's just what I love to do. So, and I know that's my purpose. So it has changed, which is really strange because you guys knew. I feel like, oh, I didn't know. A lot of people go through that, right? We don't know. And it's like, it's okay. Like you may not know until you're in your 20s or 30s. It's all right. Just as long as you're always pursuing that, your gifts and your talents and you're nourishing it and you have people around you that are helping you nourish that, that's important. So I feel like that was an important question to ask yourself.
It really was.
My uncles used to tell me that I would be Miss America when I was a little girl. They used to always, my Uncle Jerry, my Uncle John, my Uncle Cat, they were always like, you know, military guys, ex-military guys, and they worked really hard. And they would always like love on me, right? Give me whatever I wanted, right? I used to manage, like I was really good with money. So like I can save anything and they would get paid literally and bring their pay. I was young, like 7, 8 years old. And I would take their money. They would get paid. They would bring me their money. And I had like a bank system set up where I would give them what they needed for, you know, their bills to be paid. And then I would give them a weekly allowance to where they could have their cigarettes and their old Milwaukee beer, you know, and maybe a little extra room
Ooh.
going out. Right. And I would keep it. My uncle still to this day, my Uncle Jerry still teases me about it. He's like, he calls me Martina, which is my grandmother's name. He called me Teen too. And I would keep their money and keep like in a little system on my grandmother's dresser. I had this little system to where I would manage their money to make sure that they had what they needed to take care of themselves and also to have fun with. And they didn't misuse their money, which is so crazy. But they would always go, "Oh, girl, you're so pretty. You're going to be Miss America." And I was just like, what does that even entail? Right? Because I did pageants and stuff when I was a kid. I modeled a lot. But I was so shy, which you wouldn't even know. I was quiet, very shy. I just want to read a book. I just want to learn something, right? Like I was never, look at you, like, no. I love to dance a lot, right? And choreograph, but I was quiet. Look at her. Look, I was a little dancing machine.
Yes.
I used to rack up at them family reunions. They'd be like, "That's contest." I'm like, "Oh, it's my turn now." That's the only
It's on the channel.
personality. I was always really quiet. I would sit up under my elders, which is probably why I'm so damn going wise. I would sit up under the elders and just listen to their conversation. So I would just say that because saying with knowing what I wanted to be, there were things around me that people would tell me that I would be. And I also had people tell me I wouldn't be anything. But or that I wasn't pretty enough or I wasn't this or that. But I was always just like quiet, shy. Just watching. I'm a little observer. And then when it flipped, hell, it flipped. I became so bold, that assertive and finding out who I am and who I wanted to be. So yeah, but my dreams and goals have always been like this big. Like I've always known I was bigger than the place I was in and that I was destined for greatness, no matter what I was going through. And I like to, that's why another part of why we're here. Like the gift is crazy that I felt like I did not have a voice as a child, only to now my voice be the greatest thing to reach so many people. Right?
Absolutely. Because do not want not one other or next person to experience that if they don't have to.
Yeah. So it's everything.
Want to be a part of their voice.
I start with love. So whether it's our platforms here, whether it's I'm definitely a helper. But you said like how you started at the end and then it comes full circle. Same with Chris, like even athleticism, she was always about like, girl, she gonna beautify herself. Before pre and post game, this girl done bust. I'm talking about hit 30, and showed out, come out and went in the back and curl her hair and back out with her, liner and lips on, like, and some leather pants and some heels. Like, don't play like I ain't remember. She 9 with no problem, like, right? But at the same, you're still on the same. There go God. I was about to say something. I'm gonna hold that through the rest of this. Okay. I was about to start preaching. But just the importance of communication and talking and what you feed into kids, they carry that, right? Mm-hmm. And identifying your gifts early, like you knew what your abilities were, regardless of what the other plans were. You having your son didn't stop anything. It made you even better. Same with you, Brina, like having your daughter, like it didn't change anything, it made you better. Although they laughed and that shunned you for a minute, it gave you time to reevaluate things. And now look at what you're doing. Your audience is even bigger now. Your platform is limitless now.
Absolutely.
So anywho, girls, carrying on. Great question as usual, Heifer.
All the time. It'd be, you know what?
Today is really, really heavy. I think we always have really good topics. But I'm a little biased. But I think today is a really dope conversation to have. We're talking about family and little things right now. And I think transition of family changes our lives significantly, right? Everyone goes through it. And it's not necessarily what you go through, but how you view what you go through and how you grow from those things. And most times as children, there's limits to your understanding of what to do next, right? Or what you're going through. So for this topic, we're going to talk about how to overcome childhood secrets. Okay, so I mean, man,
Oh, it can go
I can't
a
even.
lot of different ways with this topic. It is.
Definitely.
Like, I guess I'll start because what came to my mind, and this just recently, like, it's crazy because like some of this stuff just not happened over years, but like it's happened. We had this conversation probably like 3 or 4 months ago, but I'm gonna say family secrets with this one is like the significance about stuff that parents hold from their kids and then wait till they're adults to say, well, this is why this is so important. Well, you just took that away from me for it to be important to me. Because see, now that I'm grown and I can make my own decisions about stuff, how I feel about stuff, maybe I don't feel that way. Because you can't just throw that on me and expect for me to make a change in 2 or 3 days just because you said it. And so, yeah, those family secrets and how to handle them, I think we need to start again. I mean, just involving your kids, be more transparent with them about things because it's another subject topic is like really touchy is about staying in a child's place. I think you said you had a post about that the other day, Brina, and oh my God, it just opened up so many avenues and doors for me because I struggle with, I guess you say, with talking with adults and stuff about adult things because I'm still waiting for adults to be adults.
Oh, girl.
And whenever we touch on the subject, especially about being okay, I know so well about being raped.
Mm.
A lot of times, commonly, most of the times, a rapist is either someone that's, has power or has money, or is very known in the family. It could be, your favorite uncle, your favorite aunt, or business, worker, or an employee, or employer, or something like that. But so when it comes down to the child trying to tell the parents this is what's going on, they're like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. This could be an embarrassment. But the embarrassing thing to me is the fact that you're letting that situation make you a child. So how can you tell a child to stay in a child's place? Yeah, I say it's really tough. I'm really waiting for, like you said, why we keep on sweeping these family secrets to the side because it did so much to me. And again, when I brought it up and was told, I told my story about, me being a victim of rape. It was like, you should just let it go and move on with the, from the past and move forward. But I struggled so long and so much about my sexuality and why I feel this way about things, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm so aware now, I pay attention to detail a lot more now. And I'm just like, I thought something was wrong with me, but it's not okay to keep sweeping that underneath the rug. We really should get that out and explain because some women are men. I'm not just saying like, rape always happens to women because it happens to boys too, as well. And so, but just in my case, because like I said, I'm a woman, sweeping it underneath the rug and just placing it somewhere else, it does a lot. And I didn't talk about it till what's this? Yeah, this year actually, just actually came out about it, and it happened a very young age, a very, very young age. And I didn't talk about it because I was always told to be quiet. Like, really, like this person that you guys see that's so talkative and so just open and obnoxious sometimes was always quiet because I knew, like, no one would ever listen to me. They made it known. They made it known. Like they said that, what I'm saying? What you have to say, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, wow. So I had to fight and focus on how to deal with those feelings and why this happened to me on my own. And again, but that part about staying in a child's place, it's got to change. It really has to change.
People don't understand
Yeah.
how much power those words have. They think that's well, if adults are present and having communication, open communication, children should not at that time, in which I definitely have that a standard of that in my household, right? But it's a respect level, but we also have conversation. Like I never played games around play names for private places. My kids could tell you exactly what their anatomy is because of that, right? And I don't trust anyone, period, when it comes to my children and any type of sexual matters. Like if I'm really protective of my kids because of the same, like having been molested at a really young age and continuous throughout years, and voicing it and being told that I didn't know what I was talking about or to hush. Oh, you lying? I repeat those things in my brain so frequently. Like it even bleeds into like my marriage at some point, right? I definitely started like we did childhood trauma counseling because I didn't know how to love my body in certain ways or know how to openly be sexual in a way that I desired to because of reliving those moments, like or be kissed a certain way or touched a certain way and not have no flashback or smelling certain colognes or like there's a lot of trauma that goes into that. And it's more than just the physical. I think you mentioned that we had a conversation about this and you said there's a mental rape that happens, right? We always talk about the physical act of being sexually abused, but there's a lot of mental things that people never overcome. Most times we'll throw ourselves into like, for me, it was books, career, and life, and things. And I later found out that the people who ignored my cries had their cries ignored.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
they responded to me the way they felt they were responded to by their whoever they told, right? So they didn't break the cycle, they continued it. Like I was told, oh, you will be okay because I'm okay. And I'm looking like, but you're not okay.
You're not okay.
You still are carrying that, which is why you allowed it to happen to me. Like, you know, and I don't know what shame or
Huh.
comes with that for the people who are the parents or the adults around that they can allow openly and deny openly. Like, what are you trying to hold value to? Like, what are you trying to, who are you protecting? The offender, right? Because I'm having to look at the person or people who offended me regularly, family events, and one of the can go as far as making sure they talk to me or be present around me or give me a little extra to where I would just freak the heck out, like just be like, what are you doing? Why are you talking to me? And I would even go as far as in a child's mind to think about, did you do it to your sisters? Do you do it to other people, or is this just me? Right? Did this happen to you? Because even at that age, I still was a why child. I was just like, but why? You know? And it was so extensive to where I'm telling you, I was scared to have daughters. I was scared to have kids, period, because of that. I never, what you don't know now, as much as I love my children, I never had a goal for kids because of what happened to me. Because I was just fearful that I would harm someone if they ever touch mine, right? With no fear. And I'm a very forgiving person. I'm very, you got like spiritual, and I definitely believe in what's willed to be. But for me, I don't know that even my belief could overcome what I would do to someone harming my children in that way. Like, I don't know, with all of the compassion I have, with all of the, you know, everything I'm made up, I don't know that I could set aside that for that. Because I know that the response I got wasn't because of their spiritual growth. It wasn't because of their, you know, whatever it is, their forgiveness. Absolutely not. It was also their innocence, their lack of knowledge, their whatever it is that they possessed. But it hurts to not be protected when it comes to that, especially when it's people that you know and are supposed to love you. Um, and that can change a lot, you know. That's why we talk about counseling so much and why it's so important, because we're living proof that you can overcome it. It doesn't mean that it won't alter your life, right? And it's greater than you know, rape itself in the physical act, as we're talking about. Like, that's so many other things, right? It alters your vision of sex and sexuality. It alters how you trust people. It alters it's yours. I'm telling you, it changed my whole identity. I didn't even know what my identity really was as a kid. I was so young. I started to create ideas I would have never had. And it didn't make me like over sexual, but it made me like not be in a place to be sexual in ways that I may have otherwise, right? But I definitely had to learn to forgive. Honestly, like when I say forgive, I don't know if I buried it so deep that I've forgotten specific things, but I can definitely be triggered and remember the whole moments, all the moments, not one. But I just don't get it. The mother of the offender, my mom, like everyone that I voiced this to just looked at me like that child, you don't know.
Right.
I didn't see this on a movie. I didn't read this in a book at this young age.
It happened.
This is something that I've experienced, and I'm running to you after the occurrence. Like I'm running to tell you. This just happened to me. And you're just going to tell me no? And this person gets to just continue to do this? Whomever, don't you see how I act around this person? Like, why are you not conscious? Why are you so self-indulged in what you're doing that you can't see? That's why I'm so like hands on. My kids can't be out of my sight most times, like, right? They can be outside my home and I gotta hear their voice. They can be indoors. I'm in the kitchen, they're in the living room, and I will call their names. Like no one's in my house. But there are things that it ties into, right? That safety measure. My husband won't even, do something because he can't, because he knows he set his own parameters for my mental stability when it comes to that, right?
Right.
But that's a heavy topic, and I think it's something that people have to really deal with, have conversations about. Because I think this is a genetic, I feel like it's cultural too. Like I feel that this comes back down from slavery. Honestly, to me, I feel like it's carried over so many generations back that genetically we're built in a way that we offend people in that way. Or young-minded, like we impose on the innocent in that way as people. Like, how do we break that cycle? Like, why is that? We can call it satanic all we want to, but how do we change that? And I think it's with conversation, like being transparent with your children, talking about it and trusting what they say, listening to what they have to say.
Absolutely.
Like, why are you protecting it? I don't get it. I don't know why we allow it. And it's not just like sex. Again, it's who your father is. Like, it's so many different things. It's what people did to other people. Like, we have this unspoken family dynamic and tragedies culturally that we just act like we're supposed to ignore. Why? Does someone know why?
And again, I just want to kind of reiterate on that part where you're saying how do we change it and why haven't we? Because again, so much cultural that has happened in the past, and that comes to, like you said, certain things with dealing with slavery or what just happened. And for so many times, people say, well, my ancestors, they fought for this and they fought for that, they lost their lives for that. So when things happen that not supposed to happen or we don't like happening to us, why do we continue to do them? If whenever things do happen, you're screaming, my ancestors fought for this and they fought for that. So did they fight for you to continue to do the same craziness that you're doing?
That happened to them. Like, you're taking away the innocence of our culture for me. Like, it's
absolutely.
I don't even know. Like,
that's not fair.
It just takes a different type of thinker, a different type of like person that can understand and really empathize and understand that like it's bigger. Like we always talk about in our our podcast, it's bigger than just, okay, this is what happened, and then we're gonna go with it, you know, like you said, it's generational.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know what it is in our culture that makes it like, okay, well, the adult is always right. You know, you're taught that the adult is always right, and you do what the adult says. So then when your child, you know, like you guys said, find themselves in a situation where that adult is telling them to do something, but you've trained your child to think that a adult is always in authority.
Right.
You know, it's like we really have to think, like we really got to sit back and reevaluate like our generational thought process, like we talked about in our last episode. Like it's a generational thing. People have left things. Come on now, let's be honest. If you really talk to everybody in your family, you sit down and talk to grandma, great grandma, great all those people, great auntie, that's something that has been already rooted. It's in your family, right? But we all choose to be a part of it by going with it, and no one standing up and saying, you know what, maybe we should think different. Maybe we should, like Shanice, how you said, like I'm different. Like there's certain people I will allow my kids around, and certain people I won't. And if my kids talk to me, then I'm gonna tell them, like, okay, I'm gonna listen to them. So I just think it just takes time to just understand that it's time to think different. It's time to do things differently. Like I have never been, I can't say I've ever been molested. I can't say I've ever been raped, but I have been in those situations where it's like stay in a child's place. And I feel like that has stumped my growth in certain situations, for sure, in certain situations. But I've always been that person where I'm just like, no, I've always been kind of like a rebel, like, no, no. I don't know what that was inside of me that's always been like that, but I've always questioned, like, why? Okay, so, you know, and sometimes it would come off disrespectful. But for me, it's just like you said, Chris, like with my post, it's just like try to get people to understand like the generational things that we've been passing on for years and years. That has not been working. And we're talking about being a people. We're talking about doing better as a people. You know, we're talking about all these reparations and all this other stuff. But as a mental health wise and generational wise in our families, we need to take care of that, because that's where it's going to start. It's going to start at home. You know, even be a part of education. You hear these crazy stories and you do CPS reports about kids that have been going through these things. And it's like, ultimately, it's not your fault. And you have to forgive yourself for that, because it's not your fault. It's whatever adult was over you that was supposed to be making sure you didn't experience those things. Yeah. That is part of their fault. And they have to forgive themselves for that, you know, but it's freeing to hear other people that have gone through it, you know. And like I said, I can't personally directly say that I understand, but I've been around people. I love people that have, and it's just, to me, it's just stop making a child feel like they don't have a place to say anything and to be open and be vulnerable. Because sometimes, listen, kids know more than we do. Kids will pick up a spirit and pick up something that ain't right so faster than we are. And if we're not paying attention, we just go right past it. So stop telling your kids stay in a child's place without explaining to them what that means and what that looks like. And the fact that no adult has a right to be inappropriate or take advantage of any child. So don't just tell your kids what to do. Explain to them why you're saying it and what that looks like. Like, that's super important.
Like there's a difference between respect of your elders and them having authority over your child, right? So us being able to explain to them the difference between the two, right? Like I said, there's definitely limitations in my home. If mom and dad is having a conversation, you don't jump in and wail all over the place, right? There's a certain level of respect. Like my kids are taught, say, excuse me, if we're having a conversation, let us address you, to tell you, okay, like this is what we're doing, and we're going to address what your needs are, and we readily address their needs. But not, you can't voice what you're experiencing, how you feel. Like we explain to our girls, but especially our oldest, who can more clearly understand it at 6, that, you know, you have an opinion. Like I've had my child correct me. Let me tell you this. The other day I said, what was I doing? I was doing something, and you know, Cadence is wild, and my child has no limit, not that old, my oldest one. And she's jumping around. I said, child, please just calm down. And she looked at me and she said, I'm not just a child. And for a minute, I was like, who is this girl talking to? But second, I understood what she felt. Because I wasn't telling her she was just a child. I was telling her to just relax. But I led it with child. That contradicted her teachings of who she is. Because I always tell her who she is, how great she is, how important she is, her value as a young woman. So for her, it was like, wait a minute, lady. I'm not just a child. I'm a girl. She said to me, I'm a girl. And I go, you are. You are. And then I had to explain myself to her without reprimanding her for understanding what I had already taught her. That was the thing. She was responding to me in a way that I had already taught her about her importance and her place in life.
And adults don't do that. They don't do that. They just, any other adult, when she would have said that, would have been like, who you talking to?
Right.
And it would have been a reprimand. It would have been, okay, wait, dang, let me think about it. Like you said, I taught her that.
I literally,
So let me-
my first mind.
Explain further.
You know, my face got a little.
Of course.
Wait a minute. This is my responsibility to coach and teach her.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's responding in her understanding.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from what my has taught her. So now I need to explain this to where she understands the difference between what I meant and what I'm saying. And we often talk about, we have these candid conversations quite a bit about specific things to that factor, right? Like self-awareness and people and safety and what's okay and what's not okay and what limits. Like we have open conversation in our home about if mommy does something to you that you don't like, you go to daddy and let daddy know. If daddy does something to you that's inappropriate you don't like, you let mommy know. There's no fine line between these are your parents and you can't feel a type of way about what happens with you and how you feel, because how you feel is very important. So we make it clear we're not to harm you in any way.
Right. Verbally,
physically, emotionally, psychologically. And if we are, and you feel that way about it, your other parent has a responsibility to take care of what happened to you.
Yes.
Like we have these conversations with our kids all the time because again, just having, not that we're perfect by any means, like there's definitely moments where we could do better, right? But we make effort each day to give them that, to make them understand that, so that when they come across it outside of their home, they know how to get beyond what they feel with pure knowledge and understanding. So no one can tell them what they feel isn't right or that they're not telling the truth. They have a voice. They always have an option. And they have people that are safe to have those conversations with. And it won't be punishment to them, even if their understanding is inaccurate, right? No one can manipulate how they feel and their understanding because they have their own mind, right? But I think that definitely has come from what I've been through, that we're able to find things like that to start changing the course of what's happening. And I feel like when these type of topics come up, I don't know about what you guys have experienced, like we're just having conversations like this, is that, no, don't talk about it. We're not gonna admit to that. Let's not bring, what happens in our house happens in our house. We don't take this outside. No one needs to know our family business, or like that portrayal of this isn't a topic that should be had, and don't want to admit it. They don't want to have the discussion. But how do we get beyond it if you're not going to? You want to tell me to be honest, but you want to pick and choose when that's supposed to happen. Right? You want to decide what that applies to, you can't. And that's literally a lesson that my kid on that day was reminding me of, in the simplest factor. She was reminding me that you told me who I am, and now you're telling me something else. So no, mama, right? And it was then my duty as her mother to assess that situation and give clarity, right? And then realize I need to be very careful with my words, because she's not just a child. She's her own little woman with her own little mind. Now, she
Right.
got to respect her mother, her father, right?
Yes.
But she doesn't have to feel obligated to do things that make her feel some type of way. And in the event that she does, she can have a conversation about how she feels and why she feels that way. And then our job is to then what? Further explain, to come to equal ground. I'm not saying, oh, be your child's best friend. I'm not saying that by any means. I'm saying there's a way to give structure, and it's not always shut up
And just do.
and just, yes, that's not always the way.
'Cause when you tell me that, I'm doing the total opposite. That's me. That's the rebel I was, because you can't. Come on now, I know better. Okay, then I'm gonna figure it out. You ain't gonna. Oh, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. You ain't gonna tell me I'm gonna figure it out. So, ooh, that's so important. Just as adult, even being adults now, like we have to really realize that, because it goes back to that question that I originally asked, like about knowing what you wanted to do, and adults. That's what hushed me. Because I see adults as like, oh wow, these are people that are older than me. I look up to them, and then it's like you're laughing, and me as my innocence didn't understand it, and I didn't share it, but it was just, adults need to realize how much power they really do have, and the world is evil. The world is evil. It is. That's just what it is. So that's why us as parents, or just even as adults, because some kids don't have a parent. Like if you're a teacher, if you're a doctor, you're a nurse, or you come in contact with youth, you have to be honest with them and be open with them and be that that ear that they don't have. Like even being a mentor, I heard so many things and stories of young ladies and young boys, and it would break my heart. But at the same time, it was just, I had to be honest with them, like, hey, it's not your fault. And the best thing you could do is just from here on forward, do the total opposite of what you've seen, like do better, And so, yeah, as adults, we got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. Because you don't want your kids to be in one of these, when they're in one of these, they're easily manipulated. They're easily controlled to do whatever, but when you have them, like how you said, to be able to assess their self and be who they are as individuals and express that with no rejection and no judgment, that's a powerful seed right there. So I think that's important. We need to do better as adults.
I think too, for whoever may be listening to this part is about, because when, like you just said, with the keeping them in a square, some adults do keep their kids in their square, not even before they even get up out in like life, because that statement where people say, oh, you've changed. You're right. I became the person that I was supposed to, because I have held so many dark secrets, family secrets, and held on to the baggage that has been passed down from generation to generation for you wanted me to keep carrying on and to take on. Right. And the fact that you say that I've changed, you say it so aggressively, like, that's wrong. And we've got to learn to accept that, no, this person is growing to who they're supposed to be, because again, right, we've kept them in this square. Oh my goodness, it's just crazy. Like before they even got out there into the world, again, I say that because that stuck with me, like that you said that, because some people are like, oh, well, I raised him to be the best that I can be, or raised him to be the best I can be. But in those four walls, did you absolutely do that? Like, so you've neglected their feelings, you neglected how their outlook on things are. You haven't paid attention to the signs and what their minds are thinking about, because that a child's there in a child's place. Which sometimes, like I said, adults, they're still waiting for some of them to be adults. Like, oh, and that's not even just saying I'm 35, 40, I'm 60 years old. I'm still waiting for some people to still be adults. You know what I'm saying? And so that part, I want whoever's listening, don't be afraid when someone tells you that, oh, you've changed. Yes, I have, because there's a lot of things that has changed me from who I was supposed to be. And it was kept on going on. Nobody said nothing about it. They just thought it was the norm. But we talk about so much where we want to change this and we want this future to be like this. But again, when are we going to make that self-assessment? When are we going to sit down and have that conversation? And then when we do, we're still in denial. Don't allow for this child or that person, so to go through, stop saying what I went through it, then they can get through it. No, it doesn't work that way. It does not. No. Change doesn't happen like that. And I just want for anyone that's like said, you go, girl, you go, sir, you go, guy. You changed. Yes, I absolutely have. I did. You knew the person that you thought I was. Because, that's another thing. Some people just think you're that person because of who your parents are. No, that ain't me.
Girl, like that. Y'all done said a mouthful today. Look, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's definitely, we don't want it to come off like you can't have boundaries and limits, and kids are supposed to just do whatever the hell they want to do. Like, that's not the point. Right. The point is accepting and realizing who they are as individuals and as people, and not trying to convert them to who you want them to be, but allowing them to flourish in who God made them, right? You don't know what they're destined to do in their lives. Like, you don't know the outcome. Yes, you should rear to the best of your ability. You should teach and train to the best of your ability. But don't think that just because that's the way you were taught is the appropriate way. Like, you can't. Kids are so innocent, but so pure, right? They're in the purest form of who they will be as individuals. Yes. Teach lessons, right? Teach hope, teach dreams, teach ability, right? Those are things you should be teaching. But that discrepancy of discipline, what that is, discipline is always a physical touch, right? It's a lot of what you voice. If you over-discipline their mindset, they become stagnant, and you wonder why they can't surpass things they go through later in life. No one person is cookie cutter. I totally get doing the best you can with what you got. We've had this conversation, like, our parents did the best they could with what they had. Right? The best of their knowledge. Not that they were right or wrong, but there's ways that we can alter and help improve what we do with our children, so that our children can do that with their children, right? So there has to be a cycle break. There has to be a revolution, right, of character. Yes. So, like, I love these kids. Like, I don't know I don't even can't keep up with these generations, and I ain't even that old. Like, they're dope. So outspoken. They are so driven. They are so smart. They are such individuals, and I love it. They're so creative, because it's a break of that conformed structure to independent identity to be who they want to be. And as scary as that may be for some older generations, that's low-key what we need.
That's what, girl.
Those transitions. From my opinion.
And they don't mind working together either. They will work with each other. Like, they will, without a problem.
They don't. You know, it's crazy though, because Sarah texted me the other day when I was at work, and she was like, "Mom, what do you think about them stripping these rights from people?" And I was like, "Oh," I said, "Well, you know what? I feel like I'm not God, and it's not my place as a man to say anything. That's between them and God." "Oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Well, you know what? That's why it's important for you to get your education, because like you said, this generation that's coming up behind, I'm telling you, they don't, you can't, I've been trying to tell people, you can't tell these kids no, and just think you're going to keep on pushing past. Like back in the day when we would be quiet, because stay in a child, when an adult tell you no, that's it. And you just go, they don't do that no more. They don't do that. They questioning and asking, and 5 seconds later, you telling them something and they figuring out something else. You got to be real. You got to be honest. You got to be upfront, because if you don't do it, guess what? They're going to figure it out either way. So I was just so baffled by that, and like so happy. And I just told her, like, you know, get your education so you can be that person to have a voice and make a change and make a difference. And it may not be something that I agree with. It don't matter. But I know at the end of the day, God going to use it his way. regardless, because I'm a praying mother, my mom's a praying mother, my grandmother was a praying mother, I'm not nervous or scared about the future. I trust it. I trust it because of who I've raised. It starts at home, right? Like you said, it starts at home. You want this world to change, teach your kids to not just stay in a child's place, but to be opinionated, be expressive, be who they are, and fight for those things that they really truly believe in, and be consistent. Like, stop dumbing them down to just little old, like you said, just a girl. I'm just a girl. No, you're not, sweetie. No, you're not. You're not. Because Obama was not just a man. I'm just saying.
My kids are
Not
just
just a man.
golden.
Pain.
When I tell them that, you ask my kids what they are, they'll take Candace. Oh, I'm golden. Oh, I'm golden.
Hello.
And Sanaya say golden, and she like glitter, golden glitter.
That's my baby.
Yeah, golden glitter.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I don't know, man. It's just, I'm happy that we're in a position to be able to openly voice it. And not everybody has to agree with it. It's not for you to agree with. It's our opinion. It's our opinion. You can't take my from me. Right? That already happened, right?
Woo!
So now we have our power back, right? And it's what you do with that. It's what you do with that. And to be able to be confident and honest and transparent in what life has brought us. But again, look where we are. You have no idea just how far we're going. You guys just hold on, put your seatbelt on. Because this is just the beginning, right? Everything definitely prepared us for what we're about to go through, right? And we've always said it's greater than us. When we decided on doing this podcast and being open with who we are as individuals and our independent businesses and coming together as a whole and giving back to our communities and building this brand and model, it wasn't even about us, right? We all were at the same place, understanding that it's greater than us and we have something that we need to give to help others. That's the purpose. We're leading with love, right? We're leading with love first. And nothing anyone could have ever done could have displaced what God already saw us doing and had destined for us to do. And it's a blessing to be able to stand here. So for whomever feel like they can't, whoever's in that revolving door, I think they can't, know that you can. You can. There's nothing special about either one of us. Nothing. We're made just like you are, regardless.
Literally.
Right? The exact same. And not everybody's circumstances is the same as far as what you've been through in life, but we all experience something that's transitioned where we stand. Mm-hmm. But don't wallow in your pity, don't stay there. Use those situations as steps, make those stepping stones to the next level to get whatever it is out of this life that you want. Because if you stand stagnant, you're going to be the same. You're no better than the person that offended you. You're no better than the person that rejected you and denied you because you're choosing to stay in the same place. I understand that it's hard. I know that it's difficult, but you were not created to be defeated. So get up and go get it. Like, no one's going to hand it to you. And if they do, it's of lesser value because nobody gives anything that's great and purposeful. You don't get it for free. Right? I've never been given something for free outside of knowledge, outside of honesty, outside of truth. Someone been honest with me would attempt to help me with whatever it was, right? Them being a vessel for whatever knowledge I needed. It was greater than them. Now it's greater than us. Mm-hmm. Right? Everybody needs somebody. We've talked about this before. We all need somebody. But don't ever cut yourself. Get up. Tie your damn boots up. Look, go for it. Stop standing there. You're not going to get anywhere from that, doing the same old thing. Same old thing. That's insanity, isn't it? Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Isn't that what Einstein said? That's insanity.
It's insanity.
I don't get it. And I don't care who doesn't like it. I don't care if you don't like it. How about that? Oh, well, this ain't for you. If you don't get it, you don't understand it. I say this all the time. It ain't for you. Pass. Pass this on. Share this for somebody else who's ready for it.
Absolutely.
No secrets for the birds. Nobody really
Don't hold this as a secret. Don't hold this as a secret.
like, share, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell. Get them as soon as they drop. Get the notifications. I'm just saying.
Right.
I hope
You better
that's for somebody. Man, I tell you guys all the time, y'all so dope.
Yes, y'all are. Yeah, so much.
Oh, Jesus. Let me.
You good? Yes, I swear.
No, I
Yes.
guess I have to put the shades on at the end of the day. I'm about to go on a tangent.
Look.
So, we done for today.
We love y'all.
Until next time. Y'all got
Until
questions?
next time.
You know what? So typically I'm pretty expensive as a life coach. I'll tell you that. I would like to personally extend to 5 women free
Mhm.
coaching session. 30 minutes. I know it may run over. I won't charge you. 5 sessions to discuss whatever you need to discuss. If you have, because typically that'll run you about $250 to $500 for like 15 minutes. So I would like to be able to, we all have been mentors. I love mentoring young women. I don't care your age. I don't care your size. I don't care your race. If you need someone to talk to, hit my inbox, DM me. I would love to coach at least 5 more women, help you get to the next level, help you start your business, help you work out your vision, help you be able to talk about, whatever it is. Because the people you look at and you think have life perfect, we know where you are. We've been there, done it. Right? Either of us, shoot. The girls, they may let y'all hit them up. I'm just telling you.
My inbox is open 24/7 now, but if I'm asleep, I'm asleep. But I get back to you in the morning time. But
Yeah.
hi, I'm just trying to tell you. But yes, we definitely can talk. I will. Most of the time, right.
I give you 5 for 5, and then after that, now we have to talk about numbers. But tune in,
Absolutely.
guys. Pay attention.
Hit us up.
Let us know what you think. If you agree or you disagree, comment, share. If there's things you want to discuss, we always say this. You guys have topics you would like us to discuss. You want to hear what we think about it, what our experience have been. Let us know. Comment, message us, text us, DM us. Let us.
This should be a lot, especially with this year. It has been a very self-awareness, eye-opening year. So yes, if you don't understand what it is that you're feeling and why you're feeling like this, because you've never seen how this feeling may feel, absolutely hit us up.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Down in the DMs. And your information is confidential. Ain't like we're gonna go tell your business. Please know.
Right. Adults.
100% confidential.
Adults, yes.
Talk about
3 adult women.
We need to talk about with no judgment. Your business is your business. Man, again, I hope you guys have enjoyed. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes, next week.
Have a
Love
good
you
one, guys.
Bye.
This a boss man beat.
Welcome to SLC Incorporated, where you are liberated to soar, lead, and conquer. Empowerment is what we do. Educating is our expertise. Excelling, you will do. SLC Incorporated.